Good afternoon. This is Chalo Carroll here, the CEO of Korea Risk Group, which produces the NK News and NK Pro websites. Today I'm going to give you a quick tour of the two in order to help you determine whether or not they might be a good fit for your school. So this is the NK News website, which I'm sure you're familiar with. All NK Pro subscribers get full access to the NK News website, which features approximately 5 to 8 fresh articles every day, all written exclusively for the website by experts and specialist journalists all around the world. It's a general entry-level sort of version of what we do, and has some very wide-ranging topics under the microscope, and is really often a good help for many people working on academic work interests on North Korea. But NK Pro is our website for people that have a bit more of a serious level of interest, and it is basically a vector for combining research tools, unique databases, our own exclusive analysis, and lots of primary source information that we gather from our sources from inside North Korea on a daily basis. So on the NK Pro website, in addition to the news and analysis, which you can see here, there are a number of research tools that will really help your academics, and those are the things I'm going to quickly give you an overview of today. I'm not going to go through all of them because we now have so many, but I'll just show you a few. So first of all, the newly improved NK Leadership Tracker, which is a system for tracking all of the appearances of the Kim Jong-un elites, Kim Jong-il elites as well, from 1994. And you can see how many appearances are made by the North Korean leadership each month over time. People can download this, they can filter the data by certain areas. There's lots of scope for customization of data. In addition to giving users a way to extract data on various visits, we actually list out all events as well. So every time Kim Jong-un or the late Kim Jong-il made an appearance, we would list them out. And we have literally tens of thousands of lines of data here. For all of them, you can click on a particular visit or appearance and then see the North Korean KCNA report as to what happened, where it happened, and then you'll see a list of who attended that particular meeting. Now, I've just showed you a meeting with Kim Jong-un where no other North Korean officials were present, so there's only one official there. But when you do click on an official, you get information of their post changes over history, and then you also see a list of their own appearances and the category of those appearances over time. Obviously, Kim Jong-un wasn't public before 2010, so that's why he's been so big since then. Interestingly, the military appearances completely stopped in 2018, which is again consistent with what we know about the current outreach by North Korea to South Korea and so on. In addition to that, you can click on any particular individual and view more media coverage. This goes for anybody in our system, and it will then present not just information from around the world, not just information from our website, but from around the world. And you can actually filter that by South Korea, North Korea. You can filter by think tanks, by blogs, and so on. So a really good way for people to find out specific information from around the world. Another example of one of our research tools is the North Korea Ship Tracker. This is a real-time overview of North Korean vessels around the world, and this is excellent for anyone that's doing research on sanctions and so on. You can actually click on a vessel and then you'll get more information about why it's in our database. We have a shipping specialist that maintains this database and actually builds this database on a regular basis. I'm just zooming. I've just got lost here, sorry. I need to get back to Korea. So basically on the ship tracker, you can see why all ships are in our database. Then you can see a list of where its position has been. This data goes all the way back to 2013. And you can see ownership structures and so on. It's very, very useful for not just the sanctions stuff, but also to get a good idea for where North Korean trade is contemporaneously most active. And in fact, when you look at certain ships, you are able to actually see a heat map of where those vessels have been going, which can be a very good way to start picking up data on where their most regular ports of call are and so on. So here we see one that's going to the north a lot, but also interestingly to Japan sometimes too, which obviously raises questions for Japanese sanctions. Now, another one I've pulled up here is our statistics database. This is simply an aggregator of open source data, but as many of you know, it's very difficult to find data, and a lot of students struggle with Korean data sets because there is oftentimes no English. So what we've done here is brought together simply like a couple dozen or so indicators from around the world and just put them into one convenient system so that people can quickly track things and see how changes are occurring. But while this kind of data is obviously accessible elsewhere, there are data that we are tracking from inside North Korea, from our sources every single week, that are literally unavailable elsewhere. So we get the official exchange rates from inside Pyongyang from our sources that live there. They share these with us on a weekly basis. And we also get things like gas prices, which are really, really interesting for determining how sanctions are or are not having an impact on prices inside Pyongyang. You can see here huge spike in gas prices last April, just as the sanctions were really starting to tighten. Another couple of tools you might be interested in. We do a research tool that shows trade around the world with North Korea. So I'm now looking at North Korean imports from Russia. You can see them down here, how they've changed over time. And if I change that to exports, it will now show me North Korean exports to Russia, also down quite a lot since the sanctions regime has been starting to bite a bit more. There are, as I said, several research tools like this, and also databases. We have a company directory for people, organizational directory, which is NGOs, universities, and other entities that work on North Korea. A specialist directory, which is basically bringing together a huge database of all the experts, specialists, practitioners that work on North Korea issues. And a document repository, which is where we file all of the UN, EU, Treasury, State Department official reports on North Korea. They go back for ages and ages and ages. So that's a really, really brief overview of just the general layer of data that you get on NK Pro. But there's one other area that I really, really wanted to show you, which relates to North Korean state media, a huge treasure trove of primary source information. Now, as any of you who ever deal with North Korean state media know, it's extremely difficult to browse English or Korean language news about North Korea, and it's extremely difficult to search it because the search platform on official North Korean websites is often so weak. So what we do is every day we collect everything that is published by the North Koreans and put it in a database for users to consume. So people can just download the newspapers. The North Koreans delete these every day. So it's a real trove of primary source information. And the most important thing is you can also search. So if I search Donald Trump, it will go not just through KCNA, but all of the state media that we're tracking. So Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nodong Shinmun, Chosun의 오늘, and Pyongyang Times, just to name a few. In addition to that, you can actually generate charts out of keyword matches. So I could, for example, search the words China, nuclear, and sanctions, and then create a chart to see how often those terms have been emerging in North Korean state media. And you can see these huge spikes around certain dates, which can be a really telling indicator for academics that are working on certain subjects. But one of our most proud or recent inclusions is the North Korean TV. We actually have a live stream now of TV from Pyongyang, so people can just watch TV every day. As those of you who know, North Korean TV is a really useful primary source of information, and it's not broadcasting right now because of the time, but we archive everything, so everybody can watch North Korean TV every day. We have the news bulletins, and this archive goes back for about a year now, so lots and lots of material there for those Korean-speaking researchers to use. Like I said, we're tracking all of these websites you can see here from North Korea, and we have as complete a database as possible. We literally bring in everything that's published on these websites, and so this is an extremely useful tool for people working with North Korean media. And one of the best parts is you can actually create alerts, so if someone wants, they can be emailed by a system anytime keywords appear in North Korean state media. So I get emails every day when things like this are mentioned, which is a great and easy way for me to keep up to date with North Korean state media. Just lastly, I wanted to show you the email aspect of the service. So at 7 a.m. ET, you get an email like this, which shows all of our latest work. Then it has a 250-word analysis based on what we believe is the most important development of the day. And then we have an aggregation of news from other sources around the world, split by category, which is an extremely efficient way for your students and faculty to stay up to date with what's going on elsewhere. In addition, we actually translate from Chinese, Russian, Japanese, and Korean every week. We do this Foreign Media Monitor, which is stories that didn't make it to English that are around the world. A good way to keep up to date with news and views from different regions. And on Mondays, we do a look ahead at the week that's coming and all of the events and conferences coming on North Korean issues, as well as any predictable news events. So that's a quick overview. I hope it gives you some taste for the NK Pro service, and we look forward to starting your trial imminently. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.